All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with another 49er video. Did the Niners strike gold with another undrafted free agent or late round guy? Last year it was Brock Purdy. This year, is it Tanner Mordecai? We'll discuss that coming up next. We're first brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go talk to Damon and Mary. Get the brisket chili. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. Best barbecue you're going to find in all of Northern California. All right, the draft came and went over the weekend, and the 49ers made a number of selections, but maybe the sleeper pick is one that wasn't even a draft choice. Remember the name Tanner Mordecai. Remember this video that I'm doing here in late April, right after the draft, because the 49ers hit with Tanner Mordecai. And this kid can flat out play. I did the deep dive on Mordecai earlier today, and wow, that's all I got to say. They really hit on Tanner Mordecai. He's an interesting kid. He started at Oklahoma, then he went to SMU, and then he finished at Wisconsin. And at his local pro day, he ran 4.46, which would have been the second fastest 40 time of any quarterback at the combine. So he's got athletic traits that are right there with, Robert Griffin and some of the more mobile quarterbacks we've seen coming into the league. I think there's no doubt he's going to compete against Brandon Allen for that number 3 quarterback job, which is going to be a practice squad spot. I'm eager to see if they hide him in preseason, if he looks really good in camp. I'll say this, based on what I've seen, I think this guy makes a run at Josh Dobbs for the number 2 spot behind Brock Purdy this year. I think this kid is that good. He plays with confidence. He's accurate. He played 3 years at Oklahoma. He was a backup to Kyler Murray the first year. Then he lost out to Jalen Hurts in the second year. And then he shared the job with Spencer Rattler in the third year, 2020. So that's 2018 under Kyler, 2019 lost to Hurts, 2020 shared time with Spencer Rattler. Those are all good quarterbacks. So he played 3 years at Oklahoma, didn't get a lot of playing time. Then he goes 2 years at SMU, and he played there with Rashee Rice of the Chiefs. Rashee Rice was his number 1 receiver. And then he finished up with 1 year in the Big Ten at Wisconsin, and only played 12 games at Oklahoma, didn't really get a chance, and then transferred to SMU in 2021. First start for SMU, he threw 7 touchdowns against Abilene Christian. He threw for 9 touchdowns in a game against the University of Houston in 2022. Mediocre size, 6'1", 6'2", roughly 215 pounds, mediocre size. About the same size as Brock Purdy, to be honest. He's got a 1.63 10-yard split, so it's doesn't have quite the quickness of Brock Purdy, but 36.5-inch vertical. Would have been the second best of all quarterbacks at Indy. 8 7/8-inch hand, so he doesn't have huge hands. He was born in Waco, Texas. He's 24. He went to Midway High School in Waco, Texas. He was a 4-star high school recruit. And, he moved around. He moved around. He moved from spot to spot. His college record was 20 wins, 14 losses. He completed 66%, 35 touchdowns, 27 picks. The last year at Wisconsin, he breaks his right hand in the Iowa game. And still, Luke Fickell was like, hey, man, this guy was all in to play in the bowl game against LSU 3-4 weeks later. Wasn't invited to the combine. But, man, when you watch him, strong arm. Some people say he's got a cannon. I don't know if I saw a cannon, but he definitely's got a strong arm. Gets the ball out quickly. He's an authentic leader. You can tell. He's a smart kid. He's competitive. He's fiery. And he's got that 4.4 speed, 4.46 speed. plays with tons of courage in the pocket. He's not afraid. Will move off platform to create more time for himself. Will throw underneath. Will take chances. He's very courageous. He'll take off and run. And I saw him run a couple times where he gave a guy a juke move and ran for another 25 yards. Has had 50-yard runs before for touchdowns. And this guy is what you're looking for. Really, really nice signing by the 49ers. And I'm a little shocked because they just found Brock Purdy, and now here comes Tanner Mordecai, and Mordecai's real. I'll say that right now. Brandon Allen, buckle that chin strap and show up in camp ready to roll, because this kid could easily take your gig. And as far as Josh Dobbs goes, if Mordecai can just keep doing what he did at the college level, Dobbs is going to have a hard time keeping that job too. This kid is real. Absolutely real. When I watched it, I'm just thinking to myself, wow, am I watching this? Is this what I think I'm seeing? He's a humble kid. He's super fast, really quick, very smart, very competitive player. As I said, he played hurt against LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl. They lost the game at the end to LSU, but LSU was way better football team. But this was like 3-4 weeks after he broke his throwing hand, and he's in there against LSU, and he had huge numbers. If you watch that game, or if you look up that box score, Mordecai against LSU in the ReliaQuest Bowl, 27 of 40. So he completes 68% of his passes for nearly 400 yards, 378 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He was sacked 5 times in the game, and they wound up losing 35-31 to a really talented LSU team. But that was about a month after he broke his throwing hand, and he's out there. Fickle said there was no doubt, whether or not he was going to play. He was asked by the media afterwards, "Hey, would you consider sitting out the ReliaQuest Bowl?" He's like, "No, I'm going to play." You can tell the kid's mentally mature. He's smart. This guy, he throws with anticipation. He throws with accuracy. He keeps the pocket alive with his feet, but his eyes always stay posted down the field. He's looking for receivers, and he's finding guys. He's got good arm strength, great little zip on the ball, amazing feet, and runs through the middle of the field without fear. He's not afraid to get hit. This guy's good. Tanner Mordecai, unbelievable. And I watch college football all the time. I watch 7-8 games a week. And this guy wasn't on my radar. So give the Niners scouts credit. I don't know if he's got a cannon, but he's got a good arm. He's got 4.46 speed, and he uses it. He's tough. He's smart. He's experienced. He's played football now in 3 different conferences. Was obviously good in high school because he was a 4-star high school recruit out of Waco. And, you can see the athletic traits. He's really quick. He's really fast. And he'll take off. He'll take off, and he'll be on the move. And I've seen him throw 40, 50 yards down the field, puts it right on the money. I saw him catch a couple touchdowns where he showed, he really looked athletic, looked really natural catching the football. Really, if you look at his career, he goes to Oklahoma, he just gets caught up behind better guys. Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Spencer Rattler, goes to SMU, put up some crazy numbers at SMU in that offense, and then finishes at Wisconsin in the Big Ten. And you could see this guy's a leader. He's tough. He's smart. He's physical. He's fast. So Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs, if they show up in camp thinking, it's Purdy, and then I'm the 2 and Allen's the 3, and we're here and we're entrenched. No, that's not the way it's going down. Not if this kid shows up and plays in camp the way he played in the Big Ten this year. This kid's fiery and tough and fast and good arm, really, really, really competitive. You can see the competitive traits. Very impressive. And when you think about, like, if you have a backup quarterback, what do you want in your backup quarterback? You want a guy who knows the offense, can check it down, this and that. But you also want a guy who can kind of challenge down the field a little bit. This guy seems like he's got the arm to do it. And then you want a guy who can run, because the reality is you come into a game late in the game, you're behind more times than not. And they're pinning their ears back and they're hunting the backup quarterback. This guy's got 4.45, 4.46 speed. So he can run away from you. And he moves around out there like he's got total command of Wisconsin's offense. He's been in three dramatically different offenses, and he's real. I mean, what I saw on this film today was real. You can see the toughness. He plays hurt, fiery competitor. He only had 9 touchdowns and 4 picks at Wisconsin, but if you go back to 2021 and 2020, one year he's 33 touchdowns, 10 picks. The next year he's 39 touchdowns, 12 picks. So in his last 2 years, we're talking about a guy who had 71 touchdowns and 24 interceptions. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good ratio. Almost a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. So I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. I'm like, wow, Tanner Mordecai, I don't know. I just thought of him as kind of a, backup quarterback, nothing more. But man, watching the film, go do what I did. Go watch this kid and see what he does. And then when you look at the total package and you're like, okay, 6'2", 215, throws a pretty good ball, 4.46 speed. Then you look at the numbers he's put up. He's put up big numbers. You look at the athleticism, you look at the competitiveness, you look at the fire, you look at the toughness. I watched 2 or 3 interviews the kid did. He's very mature, very, very humble, very poised. I mean, unbelievable. That's all I'll say. Unfreaking believable. And once again, I'll say this, with the same confidence that I told everybody a couple years ago that Brock Purdy was real. I'll say this about Tanner Mordecai. If I'm a betting man, he winds up beating out Dobbs and Allen, and he's the number 2 guy. We'll see how it all shakes out. I mean, Dobbs has some great athletic traits. He's really smart in his own right. Dobbs has a lot going for him. But I saw that Minnesota Bears game late in the year. Dobbs was atrocious in that game. So somewhere in there in his skill set of, really smart, really fast, really athletic, really talented is that Bears game. And I'll never be able to get over that. And then Brandon Allen, I think, is a really smart, veteran, solid backup quarterback, but nothing more. I mean, he's smart. He's solid. I mean, he's a good dude. I love talking to him and smart. And he knows the game plan. But he doesn't move like this guy. He doesn't move like Tanner Mordecai. And then watching Mordecai just run around and make plays, and he's got difference-making movement ability and plenty of arm and lots of experience and all kinds of guts. I mean, I could not believe. I'm almost laughing doing this video because I could not believe that the 49ers, who hit on Brock Purdy, found Tanner Mordecai as an undrafted free agent. And if you watch the film and you look up and you start adding up the traits and putting it all together, you realize they landed a good quarterback here. This guy can play. He absolutely can. So all I got to say is wow. And I'd love to know who scouted this guy. Was the same guy who said, you know what, Purdy's pretty good? Did the Niners go to that guy and say, hey, what do you think of Tanner Mordecai? And that guy's like, yeah, I like him. I'd be very, very interested to talk to John Lynch and find out how they located and came upon Tanner Mordecai and what they actually think of the former Badger, the former SMU star, the former Oklahoma Sooner, because the skill set looks really good. And when you add it all up, you sit there and go, wait a second. He's 6'2" with a good arm, with an unbelievable, maturity to him, with a, above average arm strength and 4.46 speed. And then you flip on the film and you watch the runs. And this guy can make quick runs when nothing's there to pick up, yards to keep the chains moving. Reminds me in a lot of ways, I feel like I was watching Russell Wilson. It's like he drops back to pass and he keeps the feet moving, and then he extends the pocket with his quickness in the pocket. It's not Brock Purdy level quickness, but it's still pretty good. But he looks like he's got maybe a little bit better arm, not quite the accuracy, but better speed. When he takes off and runs, we're talking about a guy who can run away from defenses, 4.46, and you see it. It's out there. When you're watching Tanner Mordecai, you see the speed. You can actually see him running away from Big Ten defenses. That LSU team that he went up against has huge talent. 3 weeks after breaking his hand, he's in there in the ReliaQuest Bowl, throwing for almost 4 bills, playing his ass off. So, Niner fans, trust me when I say this. Tanner Mordecai is a player. And I would say at the very least, he's got a phenomenal shot of knocking off Brandon Allen for that third job, and maybe even a shot of knocking off Dobbs for the number 2. We'll see. We'll see. I did watch one full game, and, obviously everybody looks better in their highlight package than in full games, but this kid's maturity and skill set is real. And, the humility, he's a humble leader. You can see he shows up to win games. He's going to fit in perfect. He's absolutely going to fit in perfect. Brock Purdy's going to love and hate this guy all at once. He's going to love the fact that he's on his team. He's going to hate the fact that he's looking over his shoulder at Tanner Mordecai. But Mordecai's real. And the Niners landed a very good backup quarterback at the very least, they landed themselves a very good backup quarterback with 4.46 speed and a ton of movement potential. So a lot to love. I can't believe that Tanner Mordecai looked as good as he did. But all I got to say is Tanner Mordecai, wow. All right. Thanks for supporting the Krug Show. Check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. Go get the brisket. Go get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon and Mary, and tell them that Tanner Mordecai's new best friend, Larry Krueger, sent you.